Yo, I'm just making a quick opinion piece on, I shouldn't say opinion piece, a quick little opinion video about Monster Hunter Wilds for a couple of my friends who are wondering about it. And I don't feel like talking their ear off for like however long this ends up being. So this is an easy way to just look at things if they wanted some stuff. So I just made a quick pros and cons thing on Google Docs, and I'm not gonna video edit like a 12 to 20-minute video for like five people who are gonna watch this. So, so the first two, they kind of go hand in hand together. Optimization has been a really big problem for Monster Hunter Wilds going into it, for PC people mainly. I think Xbox have had a problem here and there, but PC, it's not really optimized well for PC. I blame that on not quite on Capcom. Capcom has to stand by its development team. I blame it more on the development team because you made Worlds like what 7 years ago, and you had the same problem, and then you managed to kind of hash things out and fix it and whatnot. Like you had the experience to like make this land it. You needed it to land. Actually, not really, because you've pretty much tripled your sales for your PC player base. But it would have been gone so much more. Wilds is supposed to be the breakout Monster Hunter title for the West. That Worlds was supposed to be. Worlds did break into the West, but not as much as I think they were hoping. It didn't like drive up as much popularity as I think they were hoping because Monster Hunter's super big in Japan. Like, god dang, it's so big in Japan to the point where they have to release it at the end of a work week, so their economy won't drop for like a weekend or like for a week. Like, it's ridiculous how popular that is in Japan. It's like I think it's like in the upper echelons of Japanese popular gaming is Monster Hunter. It's like in the top five or something like that. I would hearken to even say like top three from my understanding of things. I could be misinterpreting it, but that's fine. But yeah, it's just poorly optimized for PC. It's meant to be played on a high-end PC if you're playing PC. Like, if you're meeting the minimum requirements, you're probably not going to have a good time. A lot of crashing. I had a crash once, and I have a pretty good, decent PC I built this last year. So, like, it's not great or anything, but it shouldn't have been poorly optimized. And I understand not everyone has the financial capabilities to get better hardware. And this is a AAA title, and AAA titles are going to need higher running spec PCs to play it. And not everyone can shelf out money to get that. And you would think that in that medium patch area, like a lot of people would be able to play it because like the minimum requirement isn't like they aren't shooting themselves in the foot for it. Like, hold on, let me check their minimum requirements real quick. It, if I remember correctly, it's not like crazy. Like a 2060 isn't crazy for like NVIDIA 2060 or Radeon 6600. Like, it's not crazy. Of Intel Core i 10400 or AMD Ryzen 5 3600. I know I'm saying those really weirdly. I'm not a big computer guy, but to my understanding, like that's not insane. And the fact that it's just not running well, it's just that's on the development team rather than you've said it was going to be able to run at these for your recommended settings and it doesn't. And that's not even getting into the minimum settings. I don't even want to know how a minimum computer runs wild. I doubt it runs it well. But it really does feel like they optimized it mainly for a console because the team that makes Wilds, they've been making for console mainly. Like Worlds released on console before it released on PC, and they wanted to get it right, and they still had some optimization issues. Like you had 7 years for World to fix that for Wilds, and you didn't. And not everyone can get a good PC, and I'm not even going to go into how economics of PC parts and stuff in general work, but like you have a big player base. There's no reason to not have made it good, like optimized well. You're like player base, like I'm pretty sure it's like 3 times the amount have did it. It's exploded into the West, and it might even be game of the year. But you just optimize it and you drop the ball a little bit. It's still going to be majorly popular, which is the pro is like it's popular in the West now. It's like finally big. I don't have to like say talk about this game and then people are like I've never heard of that and I'm like, yeah, cool. Like I can actually talk about it and people are like, "Oh yeah, I've heard of that. I want to get it." Not in the, "Yeah, no, I play it on my 3DS." No. No. It's the greatest game ever for you, bless your heart. But it's worth the pickup. It's popular. It's great. It's popular for a reason. It's so much fun. It's got the gameplay's great. Monster to gameplay, I've always said it's been good. It didn't really get great, like to a point where people actually want to play it to Worlds, but it's great. Story. So some people might like it, some people might not like it. Monster Hunter as a series has never been known for its story. It's guy kills monster threatening village. Now he's hero. Now he gets to get the crap kicked out of him in G rank. That's what it's pretty much been. Up until 4U and they brought in Gore Magala and they created this whole story thing with the frenzy virus and Monster Hunter fans were eating it for you. And then they did World and Rise, and Monster Hunter fans still think, like, old school Monster Hunter fans are still like, yeah, no, for you, the greatest story of all time. I still think it's better than World, and World definitely had a decent story, Monster Hunter wise. I just like, I just really enjoy for you. It's like the peak of Monster Hunter till Worlds came out. It's so good. But story, too many cutscenes. Your world's great. It's beautiful. It's living, it's breathing. I would even like if I had to live in a fantasy world, I would think like this could be like an actual world. Like you could make this into a TV show, live action even, or like into an anime. Please make an anime show. Flash Hunter exists. Monster Hunter Orange exists. I don't care if it's a short series. Make a Monster Hunter series. But like I don't want to have these super long cutscenes where everyone's just eating food and I'm just sitting there being a fat piece of shit and just watching. Cool, keep eating. Or they're just walking so slow through the map and I'm just forced to look at things and they're explaining like lore, history stuff and I'm like, that's cool, but I really want to kill monsters. I want to hunt monsters. I want the gameplay loop I've been hunting for, searching for, my body aches for, yet I'm still stuck with these cutscenes walking people. But then some of these cutscenes, they get hype. Whenever they authorize you, you're authorized to hunt this monster. I'm like, oh, like it's good, but it's just the cutscenes are a tad long for my taste. But it's good. It's good for it. New fans will probably like it. It's good for that. Pros, it's probably the best story Monster Hunter has. It's actually like an actual story that people might enjoy. I have a very skewed view on what good game stories are. I like my games to discover lore through parts and like on your own, where you can have like a list of things where you're like, oh, these things are this or this. Or like, oh, this seems like something. Like when you learn Mewtwo is made in the lab on Cinnabar Island, and you just have to like walk in and like click around on things. I enjoy that, like reading descriptions of parts, reading weapons, and reading about monster logs. Like, it's great. I love that. That's how I like my story. Railroading stories, they're okay. But this is for games. TV shows and stuff are different, but like game wise, I'm more about gameplay than I am story, but that's just who I am. Easy. I thought Monster Hunter was very easy for the story. It's always harder in the Gathering quest, typically speaking. At least in the old games, they made you play single player for hunts that were meant to be done with 4 people. They changed that in World and Rise. But I thought it was a lot easier. I think I fainted maybe 2 or 3 times total. The freaking squid. But it was good. It was very good. it's easy. It will allow more people who've never played Monster Hunter to get into it, learn the combat system, learn how you should be doing things, but it doesn't feel as rewarding as having to memorize every single move set a monster does in order to avoid it so that you won't take the minimum amount of damage so that when you heal you can minimize the amount of times you heal so you don't have to stand still and heal and do a double arm pump. That's not in there, but I do think it's good that they made it easy for because it is going to be a massive breakout success. Mark my words, this is a game, the Monster Hunter game series, been wallowing in obscurity for like what is 23, so like 15, 16 years till Worlds broke out. Now it's here, and it's. So hunting prep very minimal. I think I was wearing the first level armors for a chess piece when I hunted the final boss in the story. Like it this goes back into the easy thing. I don't feel like I had to like upgrade my armor too much. I didn't feel like I had to get better weapons too much. And just the natural progression. Oh, I kind of have these parts. Might as well make a better weapon, right? And it just pushed me through the game really easily that way. It didn't feel like, man, I feel like in order to kill a Teostra, I really have to have at least Vithalos armor, or the in order to kill Kieran, I have to have some lightning based resistance. Like, it didn't feel like that. But I live for the hunting prep. The gameplay loop is what I love about this game series. And, like, the trap building, figuring out where you want to hunt the monster the best place to, the best places to attack, and everything. They've kind of streamlined it a little bit for the hunting prep over the years. Like they made that so you don't have to go on the wiki to figure out all the weak points and weaknesses. But and you didn't have to learn that on your own. I mean, you can still learn it on your own, but they like give you a handhold booklet in the game where it's like, oh yeah, I can just look up on the hunter's note where everything is, how to all the pieces that come from it. I don't need to figure all that out on the wiki or on my own. But it's been good. Yeah, no, it's the hunting prep stuff, not really in Wilds, and I miss that. I'm a big fan of that. If you ever want to know what hunting prep really felt like for me in the old games, go and watch the trailers for like I think it was Monster Hunter 4U, where they have like people hunting at Diablos and they do all this extra hunting prep stuff. In my like mind when I was a kid, that's what it was. Like, oh, I'll put it on after. I'll watch it after this. Yeah, heck yeah, I'll watch that after this. I'll add that in. So, but there's not too much of that. Monster Hunter, I don't really have too much on a pro side for that, and my some that might be something that like the older Monster Hunter fans might enjoy a bit more than, say, the newer fans. For like streamlining the hunting prep into gameplay. It's probably better overall for their fan bases to grow, but it's not really my vibe. I'll do a Monster Hunter review of the story monsters at some point. I'm thinking of doing it all of them, so I was gonna do a review, but I think I'll do it for all of them once I hunt everything. But I really like a good majority of the monsters that you fight in the story. There's one or two where if you watch my stream or my videos on YouTube, you'll know that I didn't like this monster too much or whatnot. I like that they didn't put a lot of older monsters in. I think they had a total of maybe three or four, and I think it really worked out. I really liked like all these new monsters, having to figure them out, and the move sets, never having like not letting my previous experience fighting Rathalos 9,000 times throughout my entire history of playing the games leak into this, where I just have to learn the new three move sets. But I thought it was very good. I really enjoyed it a lot. New monsters, and even with the old monsters, I was not expecting Ebony Odogaron to make an appearance. Rathalos I expected at some point, and they actually made the Kongola's fight bearable. I hate that guy. Like, as a monster, I didn't think he was that cool growing up, and the fight wasn't that fun, but they made the fight a lot more bearable, in my opinion. Info dump. There's too many tutorials. They have like a selection thing on the screen where you can have all the tutorials or just some of the tutorials, and some of the tutorials they really try throw it on your screen and they just leave it there for like a minute it felt like, and I'm like, I know how to do this. You don't need to do that. I know more than you game. I know this game series. But they don't have like the zero. I would like an even less tutorial for like almost where it's like only new things, right? That would have been better. Like one more tutorial setting or a no tutorial thing. Maps. I don't really have anything bad to say about the maps at all. This is the ultimate evolution of Monster Hunter maps that they've been working towards for like the past 23 years of this game existing. And like they made all the maps connected and you can just run to the other map if you really want to. It might take a hot minute, but you can do that. You can fast travel too. Like either one works. But if you're like just feeling of roaming around, slaughtering the local wildlife, you could just do that. Like you can run from the desert to the jungle to the oil well to the cliffs to the broken civilization that these people are living in. And you can go. I love that they put the villages in the map, and you can just wander in the village. You don't have to like wait another little loading screen. God bless the segmented maps. They had their uses, aka Devil Joe's, aka Lagai Chris' second hunt, the gather monster guts in Monster Hunter 3. But like this is the ultimate form of what they've been working towards. You could tell like the evolution of it from Worlds. They're bigger than ever. There's more elevation. It's more endemic life. There's more environment things to know where things are. And I like that. I love it when you can just run up a wall and jump off of it and hit a monster. That's cool. Like you gotta know like that's over there. I love that if you knock a monster down in this specific area, it gets trapped for a little bit. That's awesome. They have more vine traps, falling boulders you can use. It's great. And that's like stuff that I imagine like humans if you had to hunt giant creatures. I don't want to say woolly mammoths in ancient times because I doubt they were doing stuff like that. But this is how I imagine like people with modern day people thinking if they had to use swords and shields and giant swords and whatnot, how they would hunt a dragon is yeah, you want to topple a giant rock on top of it. That's going to even the odds. I think that really goes away. This is more of a nitpick, not really a con. And all the older games, I shouldn't say all of them. I didn't play no, but it's certain, and I don't think they didn't try. But when you ate a meal, I think from like maybe four, don't quote me on for you, definitely generations to like rise. I like it when the cat cuts your meal. I like having the grandma cat make you a crock pot meal, or like some super buff, roided out cat cutting a steak with a mini sword on a grill. Like that was cool. I like that. I enjoyed those cutscenes. I let those cutscenes play out. I like that. Even the Dango stuff in Rise. It was enjoyable. I really loved it. But they don't have that in this one. You cook it yourself, which is more realistic, but I would have rathered my own cat cook it. That's just me. Quality of life changes. There's item pouch, extra weapons, weapon skills, the pop-up camp. Just a bunch of the little stuff. Adding more healing things is okay, I guess, but I'd rather make the players suffer a little bit in this happenstance. But it's good. I think it's very good for the game overall to do that, and it's enjoyable. It really helps. I really do think like how they organize item pouches, the radio menus are a little bit easier to use. I had a little trouble with that in the beginning in World. Actual helpful you like support hunters I think are really fun for people who don't actually want to hunt with people or people who are lonely and have no friends. You can just call in support hunters. Or maybe your friends aren't on and you really enjoy the aspect of fighting with four people. Maybe that's a gameplay you enjoy. Because I remember with some friends we would do the maximized mounting and jumping attack. Hammer guy would just launch a dude into the air with the offset attack, and like you could like you could do stuff like that, or like someone would KO it. The focusing of different parts to maximize the amount of parts you get at the end gained, or the maximize the carves. Like it, I liked it. This is getting to be a longer video than I thought it was. Oh well. So weapon trees. This is more old style. I'm not gonna get into the upgrading thing. It's kind of weird right now, or at least it felt kind of weird last time I was playing Wilds. I haven't played it in a day. I've been a little busy studying and stuff. But weapon tree, I like the weapon tree. More importantly, it's like the old game weaponry where, and more importantly than that, it's like the old game weapons. Oh my god. In Worlds, you'd have like Greatsword where I killed Xeno'jiiva would look exactly like the Pookie Pookie Greatsword. It was just metal with like the monster parts in the handle. It was kind of. Where's my sword? I have a sword lying around here somewhere. Like the handle and grip area at the very end going into the crossguard would all be made of monster parts. And then you just have like steel, right? But in the new ones, I shouldn't say new, in Wilds and the old games, they would just be weird. They would just be freaking weird half the time. Arguably, they didn't have the game design power to make the things look very different. For let's say like long swords, they were a little bit more limited with, but like they made them look visually very distinctive from like each monster is very different, and they made the weapons feel very distinct and different from other monster weapons, and it should be that way. But they also made them look, I don't want to say cool, they look silly, goofy, cool, and different. They look different than what you would think the hammer. The hammer's just a giant head of Rathalos, or this sword has like when you like unsheath it, spikes come out, or sword and shields looking different, the Gore Magala weapons being just insane and for you to just look at. Like, you want them to be visually different looking because A, it looks cool, B, all of these things are made up mythical creatures, and I know the weapons kind of give this idea of like, kind of break the immersion of the game a little bit, but when it's okay to break immersion if they look cool, in my opinion, like really cool. Uh, but that sort of thing, like, it's a mythical thing. It's not gonna be like Arthur's sword in the stone, just a sword in the stone. It's gonna be just some sword that's like curved and is different color than everything. Like I think I saw some sort of dual blades when you have them sheathed. They're just a ring on your back. Like that looks epic. That's what you want. You want people to go you want people to play the game more, and to play the game more you got to make them hunt different things in order to build more weapons, and maybe they have to build weapons outside of what they normally use that will get them to have to master the other weapons, which will make them play the game more. Like, it's perfect. That's the way it should be. DLC, I heard some people complaining about Mitsune. I understand the devs, I think, really like Mitsune. He was going to be in Monster Hunter 3rd Portable Flagship before they put Jinoger in there. But like Mitsune's a great monster. I like Mitsune. Big fan of Leviathans. Where's my Danger Pickle? Where's my Triceratops Wyvern? Capcom. Where's my Lightning Wolf? My B-34 bomber with my bomber plane. What was the other one I was thinking about when I was coming in to play this? Where's my Where's my Eldritch Ocean monster? Where's Chris? I saw Gore Bagala. If you could put Gore into this game, you could put Chris into this game. Give a small percentage of people who really enjoyed Monster Hunter try underwater fighting. Throw us the bone, man. You've been teasing Chris trying to get the model to work in every game. Please, Capcom, just put him in. I guess not having Chris as a con. Potentially the greatest Monster Hunter flagship. Nergigante is great. I love Nergigante. Fun fight, cool armor, cool weapons, like really cool weapons. Chris armor and weapons subpar, but like the monster design and the nostalgia factor just go into it. I remember being terrified of hunting him at night as a small child in the ocean where the ocean was dark and he would just show up with lightning blue on his back. You could see his eyes, and then all of a sudden the Monster Hunter music got super fucking intense out of nowhere. And you're like, oh my fucking god. And just paintballing him and watching him with the binoculars because he was blocking the three things you had to carve from these herbivores, and he would just hunt you down in the two areas you could find him in. Well, you could find him in more areas, but the trying to drag him on the land so you could dive into water and then swim into the next area and use the segmented map to your advantage. But it's fine that they're adding Mitsune. But I heard the complaint that they were only adding one monster. It's the first update. Don't expect them 1 month into the game to add 6 monsters. Like Rise will have these bigger updates when Rise was out. Like they'll add a monster and maybe a subspecies or at a time. Let them work. It's complicated to get those models to work, I'm sure. Like and then have all the environmental interactions, put in the mounting interactions, adding in the turf war interactions and whatnot. That's tough stuff. Like cut them a break. If they're gonna add a massive amount, I'd rather it be a DLC I have to pay $40 for, like Iceborne. Iceborne DLC was crazy good when it first came out. The amount of monsters, giant new map, that's what you want. But going a slow pace of adding fan favorite monsters, either from the dev team or I like actual fan favorites. I'm sure fans and dev, we both love Mitsune. Mitsune weapons look great. I like the Mitsune armor, and the Mitsune fights is fun. I remember fighting them in Generations. It was great. It was a good time. But let it come out at its own pace. The game just came out literally less than a week ago. Maybe not from when I'm posting this, but when I'm streaming this. I think the Monday from the Friday that it came out. Multiplayer is pretty great. I like the environment link thing, the expedition thing. You don't have to like wait for someone to invite you. You can just be in the thing the whole time. I like the link party system is pretty fun. I had, if you watch my streams, you know I have trouble getting the friend request things specifically out, but I like the squad thing. I like the lobbies. I don't like that you can't just join friend lobbies as aren't as easy, I think. But it would be a lot easier if they just hooked up like your PlayStation, your Xbox friends list, or your Steam friend list into it for people who already have it. That would be easy, but they didn't think of that. That's fine. I'm gonna look up that Monster Hunter video. Let's see if I can't find it. It might be this. Yeah, it's this. Bing videos, don't fail me now. I'm giving you one and one chance only. Okay, before we start it, I have to adjust the size so you can actually see everything. Bing videos, you're kind of dropping the ball. Bing video dropped the ball. These guys are hilarious. Maybe it's my internet that's dropping the ball. It could be either one. It looks like it's just my internet being shitty. Uh, looks like that's just me. We'll have to watch it at the beginning of the next stream then. Wait, hit a refresh. Hold on, let me. There we. Hey, okay, hold on. Let me get. Just give me a second. Hey, ignore my list of things up there. There I am. And I have to readjust this again. this is the epitome of what I'm pretty sure I just used that word wrong. But this is what I think of Monster Hunter. This is what I think of it. This is when I'm playing Monster Hunter and the older games and in World even and Rise. This is what I think of. I don't get this feeling quite as much with Wild because like I said, the Monster Hunter preparation thing doesn't feel like a big factor in the games anymore. And I miss that, but the gameplay's still really fucking fun. Like it's hard to beat that. I don't know if the sound is coming through. It's a good thing there's no actual. Oh, it's playing through my computer instead of everything else. That's kind of wonky. I don't like that. We are going to fix that is not going to be something we do. This is also where I think they got the idea for the while for that the thing in the game in the desert area. Nope, it's still playing through my speaker. I can't actually let it be that loud. I live in an apartment. My neighbors might say something. See, this is what I think of. You can set your bombs ahead of time and prep it. Like this wasn't the only banger of a trailer that For You came out with. This I the stealth part of it at the beginning. Well, we got lance, a dual sword, charge blade, and a gunner. Knowing where the monster eats, the specific carcasses it eats. Having the proper tools and preparations and bombs. Sergios is a monster I think that doesn't get enough love. Hate fighting it, but it's a bleed monster. G is for ultimate. And in the West, it's For You. I wonder if I can find that other trailer I was talking about. There's a really good one. Shoot. I don't think it's this one. No, that's a gameplay. Maybe it's the opening scene. I'll watch this too. I just love this game series, even if I'm not great at it. It's this one. Quality's not great because whoever recorded this may or may not have been recording it through 3DS. Good old Tigrex. I don't think people. He was a fun fight in World, but I don't think people understand how terrible he was to fight in the older games. When you lacked a lot of the verticality movement options, and you just lacked movement options and environment usage. I miss when the cats weren't a part of the story. They were just funny little goofy guys. Almost make you think you could play a heavy bowgun in the older games. They were so tough to use. Where's the prep? They didn't prep well enough. This is when mounting was first a thing. I miss Palico skills. They had a different type of thing in Worlds, but in the old games, they had like 6 to 8 different Palico types you could have, and each type would specialize, say, traps, healing, fighting. There'd be a special gathering thing. There'd be a special bomb one. It's just a special buffer one, like, oh yeah, my goat. Insect Glide was also a new weapon. Also, the most OP weapon in that game besides Charge Blade, in my opinion. Ah, God, am I gonna play for? I can't play for you. That's not in a DS handheld format. I don't think I could take it not being like that, and I can't even take playing Monster Hunter World and Rise and Wilds without a controller. But uh, I miss hunting preparation, man. Anyways, that was kind of a little bit of pros and cons. So far, I've only gotten through the story, so I haven't gotten that much further in the game. I haven't had time, but I will be playing more of it on stream for sure this coming weekend whenever this comes out, and definitely throughout the week. I don't know if I'll put every time I'm playing it on stream, but every time I'm playing a new monster, I plan to 100% stream it. I'll try to stream as much as I can of the ride up to it, I might end up with like a 500 game series that only three gets 3 views per video. I think that'd be funny. But yeah, no, that was just kind of pros and cons, thoughts on it from someone who's played the game for a good chunk. When did Monster Hunter Tri came out? We got me and my brother. My brother bought it when we were like really young. I forgot to type in Hunter. This is my special pirating site. 2009. Oh man, what a game! What a day to be alive! A Monster Hunter Tri, man. We never even got that far in the game. We played it a fair amount, but we never got that far in the game. I played Monster to Try Ultimate and I got decently okay. And I hit the roadblock that was Dalmaran and I beat that alone. But it was a good game. Good game. Well worth money for the experience of it. God bless the underwater gameplay. But yeah, no, that was it. My goat. He's just he's just perfection, man. Shout out to everyone if you can read. You could probably see where these are from, but it's just perfection. Like imagine this, but darker water at night. He was terrifying. I think that's Plesiosaurus, and more something probably similar to that. He was also massive. Yeah, but yeah, that's it. 41-minute video. Holy crap, man! I am a yapper, I guess. But anyways, enjoy whatever you're doing. Enjoy Monster Hunter Wilds if you're gonna get it. 100% worth picking up. Hopefully, I'll run into you when I'm answering SOS quests.